Welcome everybody to the 21st episode of not the Enemy State Ace, but it's the 9Trick podcast.
Yeah.
You know what? The last podcast we had was a little bit hectic. We had everybody on. We had Retro, Pack, Leon, and Smexy, and you kind of got introductions from them, but not too in-depth as a one-on-one is. But we have Pack here. Very, very happy to have him here, especially in the new setup. Pack, tell us a little bit about this setup.
Let me grasp the cock and balls here and bring it closer. Dude, I'm stoked.
This is the first time we're actually using this entire setup.
Yeah.
You guys can't really see too much of it, but we're in an actual casting desk. It's not too pretty as of right now, but this is nice microphones. They're not mine, so it's actually pretty cool to see at least part of this come together. Pack, I have some questions for you.
All right.
I don't know where my fucking phone is. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll just talk then about my life. I was born at the age of 0.
The age of 0.
As we all have been born at.
I have some really in-depth questions.
Oh, I love in-depth questions. Let's get into it.
We'll get into it here shortly. Let's do a recap of the last podcast. Obviously, you guys know Ryan May, his origin of his gamertag. If you guys don't know the origin of that, just go watch the last podcast. It'll be linked down in the description, as well as his current, education, being a nurse and shit like that. When it comes to esports, give me your introduction to esports, Beck. What was the first thing that got you into it, besides playing Rig?
Yeah, besides Rig, honestly, it goes back to, I guess it doesn't really go back to the first game you played, but it kind of goes back to the first game you competed in, right?
Yeah. Because some people play video games and they play them specifically just to fucking play them and have fun.
Right,
But there's that extra step that a lot of people take when it comes to esports, at least. Talk to me about your extra step. What kind of drove you to your competitive side?
Yeah, I never got to go to the ballroom smash tournaments or any competitive tournaments that were hosted at the local PC places or anything, but I did start online esports type deals on TeamSpeak, and it was through this org at the time called Victorious Gaming.
I don't even know what the fuck
and
that is.
No one really knows what it is, but it was a big deal at the time because in 2013, when they started up around 2012, 2013, that year, it was the first time Riot worked with someone that wasn't Riot to give away
shit.
RP, large amounts of RP. So every tournament, which was every single day, they would give away thousands, tens of thousands of Riot points, which Riot points you can use to buy skins and other stuff on the League of Legends store. It's the in-game currency, right? So that was a big deal. So since it was a free tournament and everyone wins RP by winning, everyone was on board, and we got tens of thousands of people to join in a matter of days and months. Every day we were getting about 1,000 people.
So you started playing League, obviously around early high school. 2012, 2013. And then Victorious Gaming? What the fuck?
Yeah, so
Whatever
Victorious Gaming
took off. It started it pretty much gave a free introduction for a lot of young competitive athletes.
It did.
To esports, and that's where you got your start, right?
Yeah, it did, because I started there as a recruiter, and there's this training program, and you'd fall under the wing of a recruiter, and our job was to help people during the process of registering. So I guess being a TO almost, but just the registration side of things, because it was a pretty complicated registration process. But we had 20 plus recruiters, and just starting off.
Online recruiters?
Yeah, all on TeamSpeak, yeah.
And you'd be like, hey, yo, you guys like League and RP? And then you just fucking do shit?
Yeah. The people who ran Victorious Gaming were they weren't even paid. They were kind of just working with Riot. They had their side jobs and whatnot. Yeah. But it was a cool thing because you could be a shoutcaster for them. You could be a content creator, or you could help with production on TeamSpeak and whatnot when it came to streams and stuff. Or you could just be a recruiter, event planning, a moderator, you know. So
it was like esports for free.
Yeah, it was. It was a start of pretty much what came to be with like the online tournament scene, I think, in my opinion.
Well,
yeah.
And that when would you say that you started that? Like, was it around that 2012, 2013 area?
Yeah, it was in 2013.
Perfect. And what happened after that?
After that, I was hooked. I was like,
so you were just playing
gosh,
league?
I need to
you
do
were just
more.
Trying to compete?
Yeah, I competed more. I'd find like little tournaments here and there, join like a little amateur team. Because, you know, what sprouted from this was a bunch of people like wanting to be on a legit team. But of course, we're all like bronze and shit. So it didn't even mean anything. But we liked the team aspect. So yeah, we had like a little team going on. And it just went from there. Eventually, I came to NMSU in 2016, and I found out that they had like, like a silver gold team on average, and I was like, whoa, this is it. So we competed against other colleges and C-Star at the time, which is NACE, but that was that was birthed from that humble beginning at TeamSpeak.
So pretty much you were doing like competitive, just teams and shit like that, pretty much all throughout high school until entering college.
Yeah.
And when you got here,
whole time.
The NMSU, were you playing? Were you managing? What did you start with?
Yeah, so just started playing at NMSU for that team for a year. We competed.
Who was your team? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember it was Patrick Baca, who's now the Gadsden coach for their esports program. So shout out to you if you ever see this. He was the ADC. Yeah, he's probably not. But he was the ADC, and then we had a fella named George as support, and he was cool as shit. He had glasses and stuff, but he was super cool.
Okay.
And our jungler was we never really had like a dedicated jungler, and I don't remember who it was, but our top laner was someone named Wei.
Wei?
Yeah, he's still around, and he's still a good friend of mine. He had a kid like 3 years ago.
Oh fuck.
And but he was an old man. He was like 36.
When you guys were playing?
Yeah, my freshman year, because he was funny thing about him is he got his master degree in China, but it doesn't transfer here, I guess.
It doesn't count.
So he had to do all of it again. Fuck. So he did his whole undergrad while I was a freshman. Or, he was in the process of doing his undergrad while I was a freshman. And then my sophomore year, he started his master's program. So
he did like an entire like undergrad
he
year?
did an entire... No, well,
48 credits a semester?
he was grinding, but it was like I caught him at the end of his undergrad here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he started his master's degree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah. But I mean, he already did a whole master's program in China, so it's like it's kind of unfortunate, but
I don't know. Hope they don't charge that much for college in China. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you start off with league, and then I know you mentioned earlier that you started managing a bunch of the teams here, right?
Yeah. So after competing, I took a backseat approach to like 2017, 2018. I was like, I'm just gonna sit back and watch. I'm just gonna manage this team. So I was kind of like just setting up scrims, and
Like
getting
manager,
them in
like a
tournaments.
coach,
Yeah,
task
yeah,
manager.
basically. We didn't really have a coach or anything. We kind of like coached each other, but I was managing them. And the next year, I kind of did a little more. I managed them, and was like doing officer duties and stuff, like treasurer. Yeah, and then but that year we had 4 League of Legends teams, so that was
Most
like
league
a big
teams
deal.
anybody's
The
ever
most.
managed.
But it
and
died off
in-state.
quickly because we never had the staff to like take care of them.
Yeah.
So it died off pretty quickly.
Rip.
But that team was super cool because I got to compete as well, and we got to compete in a tournament like in person. It's called the NMTI event, and they're gonna do it this year again. But that was like a big screen behind us, and then we're on the the stage.
The stage. Is that picture that's on the Facebook?
No, so that was OP Dallas. So
Oh,
our
okay.
Overwatch team
That's
at the
the
time,
Overwatch team.
they were cracked. So they went to OP Dallas and OP Dallas Live, and they got to compete in that. And
Get shit on.
that was like, yeah, they got wrecked, but we
It was
all
cool.
got wrecked. We all just wanted a cool experience. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Well, that's sick. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
I don't
dope.
really know too much of, I guess, pre-COVID esports.
esports, yeah.
I know, obviously, League and Overwatch were doing well. Matt's told me that Counter-Strike was there, but Call of Duty never was.
Nope, never had COD.
Obviously, Halo, Overwatch. Obviously, I just said Overwatch. What other games are competing besides Overwatch and League and Counter-Strike?
Yeah, pre-COVID, it was when I first joined. There was one Hearthstone player,
What the fuck?
and he was just like, "Yeah, this is the Hearthstone team," but it was just him.
Damn.
And he was like, "Yeah, we
Savage.
have a team," but it was just like him playing in tournaments and stuff. But he was pretty decent. And CS:GO, like you said, we actually had a pretty decent Dota community too.
Rip Dota, man.
Yeah, Rip Dota. I thought they were gonna take off, but they never took off,
Rip.
and now they're gone forever. But other than that, the main two focuses were League of Legends and Overwatch. But
Overwatch. Well, those are the big games around that time. 2016, 2018. That's when peak Overwatch. I'm not sure about League, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was pretty good League stuff going on.
we tried doing Smash too. We got a really strong community to do weeklies,
Oh, okay, cool.
and they would do weeklies like in Corbett, but we just never followed up with them and never
Yeah.
really helped them.
Yeah, they probably weren't super self-sustaining.
Nah,
imagine.
it was tough with them. So I mean, now that we have a good strong Smash community, it's pretty
worth.
exciting. So
Yeah, and I know obviously Rainbow Six was around there. U-Stick is probably the only active player, at least now and again.
yeah, Siege started popping off.
Yeah, before
eventually.
that kind of
Mhm.
destroyed itself. Tell me a little bit about the
Yeah.
Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages.
So like 2019 going into COVID.
The Dark Ages were weird. I mean, my focus in this whole Dark Ages deal was I ran for like student government president for AS.
Oh yeah, we saw
So I
that.
never really got to focus on esports.
Esports.
I just stuck around, and anytime they needed stuff done, like through the student government or
You were
anything
there.
like that, I was there. Yeah, or needed help with like the paperwork
shit,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, all that I was there. But other than that, I didn't really get to work on it. I was just there, kind of, doing stuff. But honestly, there was not much going on at the time, anyways.
So like it just kind of died out, not like forcefully, but like kind of on its own.
Yeah,
For a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. So that year after I ran, Kale Boss was the president,
Mhm.
and then something happened, but I ended up being like the director
for like
for a
month?
semester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was always told like, nah, we shouldn't do that and stuff. So,
What do you mean?
well,
Explain.
I had like these grand plans, right? Like the stuff we're doing now.
Yeah.
Kinda. I had like plans to start doing more of that because we
But,
never
like,
did
3
anything like
years
that.
ago.
Oh yeah, but a long time ago,
Mm.
right? But it was always just like, no,
Everybody
it's
just said
not
no
gonna
to you.
work.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work, and it wasn't like, it was just the wrong mentality. It's like, work with something. In my opinion, you should work with something until it fails before like deeming that it'll fail before working on it, right?
Correct.
So that's the mentality that was had, and I was just like, I think it was my fault for listening to it,
Yeah.
it was my fault for listening to it and not just doing what I wanted to do
Correct.
because I was in the position to do so
Mhm.
finally. But that was my fault for not pulling through and pushing through and doing it. So that was an opportunity learned for sure. Like that was a lesson learned.
Definitely.
And after that, it kind of like nothing really happened until you guys came and like brought a little bit of light in, and then that light just grew to a giant beacon.
Yeah.
And now it's just, now we're where we should have been 3 years ago.
Correct.
That's where we should have been. So
Yeah, and I talked to Matt. Obviously, I had him on the podcast before you, obviously, because it was like, oh, director. And we talked a little bit about it, at least from the beginning of when I started.
Mhm.
And I kind of faced a little bit of the same shit that you did,
yeah,
at least at the very beginning.
at the start, right?
When it came to the ace and stuff like that, Matt was like, I don't know why you would do this. I mean, he didn't say that, but like,
No, I
you
get
could
you.
try.
You could
definitely
try,
do it.
That's what you told me too.
And it's like, but I don't know, will it be sustainable? He straight up asked me, and I'm like, I think at least if we were to make it just Rainbow Six, because that was like the only game, or Valorant,
Right.
because those two communities were the ones that at least me and Leon had a pretty good hand over.
Yeah. Right.
And they were growing. We were like, okay, it could sustain off of two games.
At least be 2 games, yeah.
Yeah. And then I didn't really know Smexy. I didn't know any of the league
Right.
guys.
Just you and Leon pushing through. Yeah.
And then we knew a little bit of Overwatch. My first ever fucking ace obviously had our best friend on it. So it was very interesting to see like how, I guess it took someone to not necessarily push it, because I mean obviously the foundation was here, but to like elevate it from what it already was. I mean it really stemmed from opening up the fucking lab again, right? Actually being able to use our facility, and that's where we are right now. So that's a big thing that I could sympathize with you with, of course.
Yeah.
But like, you know, now the fucking sky's the limit. So that's a huge thing. When it comes to esports, this is a little bit of a diversion question. Actually, before we get to that, tell me a little bit about your transition from someone that was not really into it as much to director.
Yeah, so
I knew you're always in esports.
I've always been passionate about it. I think the start of the dark ages, that kind of threw me off, because I was like, wow. I mean, I just felt like, damn, if it's always gonna be like this, then
there's no point.
There's no point. Yeah, if it's just getting shut down, and you know, but I did a lot of reflecting for like that year or two, and I was like, you know what, that was my fault. Like, yeah, there's people surrounding me who are like trying to bring stuff down and like shooting ideas down, but that's my fault for not like turning that around, empowering people and trying, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I really got to reflect and look back at like my mentors and how they, you know, helped me grow. And I was like, oh crap, like why didn't I just do that? So, and I just thought that I had to step away to figure that out on my own. Because if I kept trying to like do it half-assed and the wrong way, it would have just not happened the right way. So I stepped away, mostly due to reflect, but also a little bit of spite, right? Because you're just like, fuck, I guess I can't do anything.
Why the fuck isn't it working?
Yeah, I guess I can't do shit. So, you know, a little bit of spite, a little bit of that, and that was the very best thing that could have happened. So
yeah, definitely.
Like, the transition was pretty easy after that, because
there was like a power vacuum, kind of. And I mean, as long as it, you know, didn't fall into the wrong hands, which thankfully it fucking didn't, we're fine. So that's good. I know for a long time I was talking to Matt when he was like thinking of stepping down, and he was having the same inclinations, but he was going down that route that you were fearing you would go down. He was burnt out.
Burning out, yeah.
I mean, he's obviously, you know, a grown fucking man. He has a job and everything. He doesn't even go to the school. He didn't go to school for like a whole semester that he was director. Just because it really didn't benefit him, which, I mean, no one can really fault. So it's like, oh, I'm doing all this shit for free, and I'm not really getting anything out of it. And I mean, like, technically we still do this shit for free, but like we're getting something out of it.
Well, so that's the difference there, though, because I could have done that unpaid and still been fully satisfied. Like, there was nothing wrong with doing what I wanted to do. Yeah. Like, I did plan a league tournament and like a little 1v1, and that was fun as shit. Like, I could do stuff like that, or outreach.
You could do that shit like tomorrow.
Yeah,
if you really wanted to.
I would have not been burnt out right there. And it was more of just like taking that break, right? And then coming back when the time was right. So I was like, you know what? Matt has like great plans for this. Like, I'll just stick around. I kind of saw it as being like Shadow Hokage. This is like, lame as fuck.
I'll be here when I need it.
But I was like, whenever the village needs me, when the village hidden in the leaf needs me, then I'll fucking come by. And like, what do you know? Naruto died, and I had to come in. So I thought it was pretty cool, and it did feel like that though, because I was the dude that kind of just left, right? And you guys kind of saw me like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, so
yeah, like I knew who you were,
right?
Because I saw you at the top of the Discord, but I didn't know who like
what my purpose is or anything like that. Yeah, I was just there.
Yeah, I mean, I knew you were like a like a manager type
Right.
person. So I didn't like not trust you as director, but it was like, okay,
No, I feel you.
you pulled a scarecrow on me for a little bit.
Yeah, I had to, and yeah, when the time was right, we came back, and this is it. This is where we need to be. So
Perfect.
we have a trust now.
We have a trust now?
Pretty
We just built
badass.
a fucking
We just
trust.
built a trust
For anybody that
right
knows
now.
what the fuck production studio trusts are, shout out to you. I guess this is more of the fun questions now that we kind of have a little bit of background into you.
Cool. Yeah.
If you
Let's
can
do it.
play any esport that's not League of Legends, what would it be?
Not League. Not League of Legends.
'Cause I know you dabble in fucking everything. For
I
whatever
love
reason.
every fucking game. Yeah, and I think I would especially like Rainbow Six Siege.
We're watching the major, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
as
watching
soon as
the
computer
major.
fucking died
I
on
guess
me.
that's part of why, but I think the real reason is because Siege in non-tournament play is such a fucking adrenaline rush. Like just in unranked or something, like that will get the heart moving. So I can only imagine being on a stage or competing against a college.
Yeah.
And having that rush, I'd probably like fucking pass out or something. Because when I played League competitively for the college, that was such a rush. Every morning, every Saturday morning, walking
on
down
9 a.m.
I-Mall, getting to Hardman and Jacobs, dapping up the boys, and then getting into game. Wow, I was like feeling it. I had butterflies, I had goosebumps, like that was fun, and I missed that. And if I could get anywhere close to it, I think Siege would be the one to really give me that feeling again. Otherwise, nothing crazy. Because if it can't be League, which is like the best, then
Probably Siege.
Siege. Yeah.
So a shooter, interesting.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
know you
for
like Rainbow for whatever fucking reason.
Dude,
but
that game has always just been so fun until Ella or Lion came in or whatever.
that's when you stopped playing?
That's when I was like, this is not right. Something's wrong with this game.
That was my only positive season in that shit, because you could just abuse it. Anyway.
That's the dog shit ass part about the fucking Siege. It's like you just fucking play
Whatever's meta.
Lion Dokkaebi, and then you're just stuck
Yeah,
when they
kinda
do
fuck.
their fucking combo.
The wombo combo. I mean, League's like that. You could do wombo combos in League, but it's completely different. When it comes
Right.
to, I guess, being director, it kind of
Yeah.
has a lot of soft duties, I guess,
Yeah.
that you can, I guess, kind of internalize when it comes to, I guess, being in a position of power.
Yeah.
One of the big things, obviously, since I am media director, how has your previous experience in media helped with being your director? Because I know, obviously, you ran for AS and MSU. You obviously did some commercials and shit that we've seen on your Twitter. How did that help you?
Yeah, a big learning experience with AS was just knowing how important image is. And, I was a director there for one of the departments. So the cool thing is we got to work with the other departments. And PR, I lived with that guy, like the PR director. Like we were really close friends. And his assistant's like my best friend. So she taught me like the ropes and all of the importance of social media, the impact of it, and the really just how crucial it is to uphold an image. And that was a huge learning lesson because people get paid for the type of stuff. Well, we were paid in student government, but like professional people like in the industry get paid a lot of money just for like knowing exactly how to maneuver through that industry and through social media. So I knew the ins and outs of trying to get attraction or interactions up, what types of
Audiences and shit.
audiences to attack and what types of strategies to use for whatever goals you have. So it helped me a lot. And I also had to be like a politician basically.
Yeah. So that, I mean,
So that in itself was like a big learning lesson. So.
definitely. I mean, and even you've helped me about doing that shit, especially with the fucking Twitter challenge, like
For sure.
trying to target people
Right.
with the invitational, with the Twitter challenge, a bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, when it comes to the improvements that have been done currently for esports here, how do you think we can evolve from here, from where we are right now? We have a facility, we have a pretty good media station.
Right.
I know we have thoughts of fucking, whole esports facilities dedicated. What is, in your eyes, the most optimal route?
Yeah, it may seem like it's hard to evolve from here, but I think this is the best part to start really making the big jumps. And that's because the fight for esports at the start of my, involvement with it, the fight was just convincing people. And I tell you, dude, we spent years just trying to convince people. And time after time, we'd have to spend like a whole year just waiting for one meeting for one of the big admin, right? And then we'd finally get that meeting, and we just worked up the chain, like starting with someone here and then next. You work up the chain until finally 3 years, 4 years later, we finally got to the chancellor, and we just had one shot, and we pretty much said like, "Yo, can we have some money?" And then he was like, "Here's 50,000." Like, that's the type of battle that really makes it hard for esports programs to evolve.
Correct.
And once you're over that battle, the sky's the limit. So now our only limitation is ourselves. And whatever is in our way has nothing to do with the people around us. It has to do with us as a team. So now it's important more than ever to really go for the things that you want, which is, it revolves around like three big things, like academia, recruitment and retention, and like competing, right?
Yeah,
like those are the three big things for esports programs. We hit hard on outreach and recruiting, so that's our strength. So obviously we keep going with it. Competing, we're not there yet, but that's why we start implementing a lot of the cool things that make an esports program what it is, like Maryville, for example, which is, having staff members for not only coaching, but for mental health, like maintenance, right? Not physical therapy, but like,
Making sure your motherfuckers
like
are moving.
fitness, making sure they move and shit.
You're not getting blood clots playing League for 10 hours a day.
Yeah, but essentially like treating it like a pro org as much as you possibly can at the college level. And that's those little differences are what makes or breaks like the top of the line athletes, right?
No, yeah, definitely.
And when you're at that high of a level, it comes to very minute details that make a team better than another. So just getting there will get us way further than we think. And then at that point, it's just about refinement. So competition could be fixed there. Then academia, of course, we want to like teach classes and stuff one day.
Yeah.
Have this be like a degree route. And we just have to start doing it. So
yeah, I mean, all the big fucking colleges have one already. Like
right.
Maryville, for example, they're a huge fucking college. They have your esports degree. Purdue, I believe, does have an esports degree. I'm not sure if UC Irving does. It might.
Yeah, they have like a route. I know the one known in the nation is Harrisburg, because they have a full like esports degree plan.
Correct.
And then you graduate with an esports degree. But it will be in a specialty, of course, like whether it's production, business, or...
Yeah, production, business, team building, athletic, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, sports management is a big one, but...
Yeah, no, definitely. One other question I have to ask you, obviously, with the growth of our esports organization, what esport do you think has the biggest impact on our scene? So, like the collegiate...
Oh, collegiate scene?
So, like, high school going into collegiate and collegiate out to, hopefully, pro. What do you think has the biggest impact?
That's a tricky one. I know the one here, but the one for the collegiate scene...
No, for us, too.
Yeah, so, okay. So, for us, I could start with Smash. Just because, like, FGC... I mean, the Paso community is just so strong with Smash. Juarez, there's a bunch of cracked Smash players. Las Cruces, has a pretty good scene now. But it's a scene that is active. And that's the most important thing with the community, because... Now these high schoolers see that they're competing in these little weeklies that are going on in the monthlies. Now they have a fast track to NMSU where we build them up, take them to like majors and stuff. Yeah. And then they could just like live the pro life of going around to majors and other big tournaments. So I think here's Smash. In general, just has to be League. It's just the biggest one. I mean it's the most established, game title. Pretty much every team has one, since all the esports programs are growing now. And then after that, like, the big colleges They take, you can go onto academy teams. Like all of Maryville, once they graduated, they went onto the academy teams, and then went into the pro scene. Like that's just what happened. So now like the pipeline's there. It has the biggest influence on us when it comes to like that connection all the way through. And if not, if you don't go to like NA Academy, you just go to like Oceania or something, and then you could just be a pro somewhere else. Like
just go play in the Philippines.
Yeah, dude, and then fuck them up.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Nah,
I think
it's cool.
I actually disagree with you when it comes to one of the esports in general that has the most impact. I don't think League does, at least as of right now, mainly because it's been like heavily backed already by Riot. I know CeeLo, is Riot. I think about the same thing for Overwatch.
Yeah,
if Overwatch wasn't a shit game, I know they have collegiate Overwatch. I think Rocket League, so it's interesting that you bring that up, is like probably the most influential esport right now anywhere, I think, besides honestly at the pro level. I don't know what the fuck is going on at the pro level besides getting bigger.
It means it also depends like what you mean by influential. Like,
so I think
like what are we influencing? And
so what I mean by influential is like what makes like a program very attractive to a lot of people.
Oh, a program attractive to a lot of people. I mean,
so like what really influences growth besides the media competition? Or I should say with culminating media competition, etc.
Yeah, that one's a little trickier. There's no real metric for that right now. I mean, I know here our Rocket League's really strong. And New Mexico in general, it's a very strong scene. And that's just because of the work that's being put into it by Retro and really just committing to making those Discord server and stuff for them. But I don't know. Like out east, I just know that League of Legends is where all the gamers are, right? Out east, like League of Legends just has the biggest influence there because they all have teams.
Anybody can fucking run that shit.
Anyone can run it. It's all about like accessibility. And League, you don't need. We played on our damn like workstations, which we have now, but like our shitty workstations. And Rocket League, we just never had them in the lab with us. It felt like they always played from home and stuff. But when you have accessibility like that in programs that are just growing, then you could get more people in, and you just grow the scene as a whole. And I think it's smart in the way too that Riot has just expanded to other stuff like media. Yeah, like their show, like Arcane was insane. So now that builds an entire army of just production.
Correct.
Any sort of media aspects of like making an animation, right?
Yeah.
So now you just have multiple scenes that aren't just gaming, making it more accessible to anyone. Because then you need like software engineers, you need sound engineers, and
you create an industry within esports industry.
So I think influence wise, as a whole, I'd have to say Riot.
Riot Games in general. Yeah, I think also, unfortunately, with the decline of Counter-Strike, Valorant, I think is going to be very, very impactful when it comes to esports and collegiate scene in general. I really think Rocket League has a firmer grip because it's also too very accessible to random randies. You can download it on your fucking Xbox for free. You can download it on your Switch for free. Right. Valorant, I think, does have that limitation to PC gaming, so I think it might be a little bit more stunted. But we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, obviously, we see elementary schools playing fucking Rocket League.
That's true.
So that's very interesting. Another kind of question that kind of piggybacks off of that one is, I know this semester we've really hit hard on recruiting, and I do want to talk to Smexy about this, but I also want to talk to you about it. Were you, I know obviously you and Smexy work really hand in hand with recruiting, but did you initiate the recruiting or was it more him?
Initiate,
really push for it, I should say.
I mean, yeah, when I was making the pillars of our program and like drawing the vision, like that's the core of it, right? Is recruitment. So
getting new people in, better people in.
So I can't say like I I was like, yeah, you have to do this, but I did point out the vision. Like, we have to keep leads on everyone. We have to keep all of their information. Eventually, you know, we do like a signing. You know, that's what sprouts from like just making the vision. So, I mean, I guess to answer your question, like, yeah, like for everything, I just pretty much set the vision, right, and then we all kind of contribute to it and evolve it over time. So, I mean, yeah, recruitment's at our core. It's one of our pillars.
Definitely.
So, you know, when we make the foundation and whatnot, that's our big focus. Yeah, it's why we hit so hard on media, is because like the department that we're gonna fall under one day is strictly recruitment and retention. Like
Correct.
That's our job. So, as a program, all right, like that's what we'll focus on. So, so we give them the numbers and we keep up. You know, we keep tabling and all that. I've always wanted to table at the high schools too.
Yeah. Obviously.
Before the
That's
dark
huge.
ages, but never happened really. I know Matt and Andrew went out to some of them and whatnot, but
Maybe it wasn't as
it wasn't
successful
like
as it is.
it wasn't how we wanted it to be. So
Yeah.
or how I wanted it to be.
I mean, you went to the fucking MMA event, and that shit was piss poor.
Yeah, it was butt cheeks. It was rather butt cheeks. So I mean, before that, it was mega ass.
Yeah.
So to see all these programs now is like perfect. Now we capitalize and make the pipelines from high school to our college. So
Correct. And another question. I mean, obviously in New Mexico, we're a relatively smaller school when it comes to esports at the collegiate, or smaller state, I should say. When it comes to esport at a collegiate level, there's only really technically only three, I guess, powerhouses, at least in New Mexico. And I honestly, I mean, with my biases, I think we're the best. But we have UNM, NMT. I know ENMU is trying to get back up there. We obviously saw them come out to the Invitational, and then I don't think Northern New Mexico and Santa Fe is really trying at all. How has the competition pushed us, and especially you, into the direction of better leadership?
it just makes me realize that like we're leagues ahead and we have to stay ahead. Before this year though, I noticed that they were kind of like making moves that were good moves, you know, like legit moves.
If you gotta take that, you're fine.
Oh, we're good. I don't even know. Oh, it's Smexy. What's up, my dude?
Hey, yo, what's up? Can you hop on for tier 1 Clash at 7 or no?
Oh, today's Sunday. Yeah, I'm in the lab. I can do that.
Alright, sounds good. I sent you an invite.
Fuck yeah. On my main?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're gonna play Clash tonight.
Clash Royale?
Let's do it. I'll see you. Fuck yeah. I love Clash.
All right, back to the question. So,
So it
leadership.
drove me because I when I met like Bernardo a while ago, I don't know, I thought he was like a pretty cool fella, but I don't know, we never really got to talk or anything, so
like actual talks.
yeah. So I mean,
I know Matt and him did.
yeah,
but I
so
mean,
him and Matt were like really close, but I never really got to talk to him, so like I didn't know what their vision was or anything like that. I just knew like fuck you and him. So I mean, going off of that and like school pride, you kind of just have to one up them at every single thing you do.
yeah, no, definitely.
And we more than one up them though, is because bias aside, if you go off of metrics, number 1 in the nation for social media outreach, couple months already, and then not only that, they're nowhere near us on the interaction rates.
We're number 1
Twitter.
in New Mexico. I mean, if that makes it feel any better. Number 1 in probably fucking Texas region. I don't see the comments on there. Fuck you, Dallas.
Yeah. Like for outreach, you know.
I don't see Colorado. Fuck you, Colorado. Hate you guys.
I like Colorado.
Shout out
My
CSU
best
Rams.
friends from
Shout out CSU. You
Let's
guys are
go
doing a good school.
CSU.
Anyway, but
Yeah, so and then other metrics like competition wise, they don't even have all the teams for like the basic game titles.
Yeah,
Because they just
Rocket
want to
League.
focus on like a handful. So we're just ahead of the game when it comes to like staffing these games and stuff. I think we're just leagues ahead, honestly. And
Definitely.
bias aside, they're nowhere near us. And like our lab's bigger.
It's a
Like-
cock measuring contest.
Yeah, like
how many square feet do you have?
however much we want to like cock measure it,
We
it's
win.
bigger. It's like, if we want to do it that way. But again, it's like long con.
Yeah, long
like
con
I
for
don't give a
sure.
shit about any of that stuff. What matters is comparing ourselves to our old selves.
Correct.
And I just want to go better than that. I don't give a fuck about UNM. Like naturally, they just get left in the dust.
Yeah.
It's kind of tragic, even though they probably get more money and funding than us. But
I mean, what are you using it for?
what do you use it for, right?
It's really
Use
important.
it. So
I think, you were there with us when we went to the NMA event. I think you were.
Yeah.
But I don't think you were there when we went to go see their lab. I think.
no, I was for
Oh, you there? You
the
were.
Expo.
Yeah, I don't think it,
Yeah,
it
where
was
you got a ticket?
Smexy that wasn't there.
No, Smexy was there.
Okay, I'm
So the
fucking
Expo, Matt was there. You were there. Smexy
You, Smex.
was Atlas for some
tripping.
reason,
Atlas,
and then
for some reason.
one more person sat next to me because
I know it was
Smexy.
Scarecrow, homie Scarecrow.
Oh, was it?
I know you were talking to him, but I don't know. If
Oh
he was
no,
sitting
no,
with
he
him.
was with me. I was just hanging out with him
Yeah.
because I haven't seen him for a while. But
Yeah.
someone sat next to me because Alan sat in the front.
it
You were
fucking Retro?
driving. No, it wasn't Retro, and it wasn't Leon.
It was Flash. I think it was fucking
no, it was
Flash.
which Flash?
Flash, like Rocket League.
Rocket
Flash.
League Flash? No, it wasn't him.
I swear.
At the expo, right, where you got
Yeah.
a ticket going home.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it
Because
was
I remember it was
Flash.
me, you, Smexy,
And then someone else sat
someone
next to me.
else. It was either Retro or someone else, bro.
Dude, it
'Cause
wasn't.
it wasn't Matt.
No, it wasn't. Oh,
Maybe it was Matt.
no, it wasn't because we were talking mad shit.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
We were saying how much, like,
Oh yeah, we
how
definitely
much
were.
we need to do stuff.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't
remember what it
remember.
was.
Maybe it was just me in the back seat. But
Maybe
I
it was.
swear I fucking remember someone sat next to me.
I'm pretty sure it was Retro, bro. Like I'm 100% sure it was Retro.
For real?
Yeah, because I remember he like, fell asleep in my car. Oh, no,
Remember,
only
remember
me and
you
you
took
came
me up? Yeah,
Yeah.
no. On the way back,
We took Alan.
we
and
took
someone
Alan
else.
for
I
some
don't
reason,
fucking
and then
remember.
someone else. Because Matt had to stay with family.
Yes.
So who came up with Matt? Was it Gabe? Because Alan.
Nah, it wasn't Gabe. I'm pretty sure it was Smexy. Like I'm almost 100% sure.
Dude, I'm tripping balls, but
I don't know, but anyway,
regardless.
back to that fucking thing.
Okay,
We
yeah.
met Bernardo and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And we went to his lab, even though I was really not trying to be there for very long because they were talking shit and all of the esports.
Yeah, they're
stuff.
trying to cock measure, bro. I was like,
Hey, like,
Stop.
I mean, I understand. Like,
why do you got to do it to us though? It's like, do it to someone who gives a fuck, or
Yeah.
do it. Not even that. Like,
calm down.
like, why are you doing this? It's like,
I mean, I guess. I mean, like, if I was him, I would want to do the same shit. Like, if our lab was here, I would do the same shit.
I never did. Even after going to the NMAA. This last month, I didn't say shit about what we have because it's not a cock measuring contest. Like, we're humble here. Like,
Yeah. No, but like, if he were to come down and we had the lab set up like they did,
Mhm.
I mean, fuck it, might as well. But
if they ask, like, we have this many members. Anytime I bring stuff up, they always shoot it down. Like, I was like, we have this many Discord members. He's like,
who were the biggest club
He's
in
like,
the fucking school?
well,
Like, all right, bro.
well, no, he didn't even say that. He was like, well, yeah, but like, how many of them are actually like active? I was like, 600, and then like that was it. Like,
It
it's
doesn't
like
matter.
whatever.
Yeah, but
if we're just gonna argue about it, then it doesn't matter. Then whatever.
yeah, no, but I remember when I met him, and like I mean, I think, like, I mean, we're not we're friends, but we're not like super close friends, obviously, because I talked to him even at the Invitational a little bit about like shit, and I mean, I know he's like relatively humble. I feel like the people around him aren't, and we know exactly who we're talking
Also
about.
sucks when you surround yourself with people who are just.
And it's not his fault because they're
not, right.
they're hard workers, I'm sure, but they don't portray off camera the same way that they are
right,
on camera,
Right.
which is unfortunate. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think it's more than likely there's a case. Even everywhere, even here, there's been cases where it's like one bad apple does ruin the bushel for a little bit, maybe not the whole time, but unfortunately that just tends to be the case. Esports is a lot of antisocial motherfuckers every now and then, but definitely unbiasedly we're the best. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next question here.
All right.
One question and one issue that we've had, and one issue that I'm more recently not necessarily dealing with, but that I've come across is casual versus competitive. I know me and you have talked about this at lengths when it comes to, just like what focuses should be and what's best for growth and what's best for legitimacy. What's your take on the casual versus competitive? Some people think that they should be separated. Some people think that it's impossible to have one without the other. Some people straight up think that one should be focused more than the other, whether it's casual or competitive. I'll tell you my opinion on it. I think when it comes to video games in general, obviously, video games at its base and core to all the audiences will always be a waste of time, essentially, right? You play it to have fun. You play it to not really get anything out of it until you actually take it to that next level where you're trying to get something out of it. And you don't really get anything out of it if it's casual, really. I mean, like, by yourself. Like, if you play fucking Mario Kart by yourself, you're not really getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
Let's say if you play Smash Bros, for example, by yourself, and you end up being pretty good at Smash Bros, you can at least apply it to somewhere else where you can at least legitimize your skill, for example. So, I think, naturally, especially with the way that the media is going, like, if you're good at a video game, you can make money off of it. And that's one of the things that, like, I know it's relatively new for the recent 10 years, I guess. But now that there's, like, that competitive has always been there. A lot of people, it was just popularized due to content, like fucking, FaZe and all these other clubs and shit. But competitive has always been there. Counter-Strike's been around for 20 years, and people have been making millions off of it since its very beginning. So what is your take when it comes to casual and competitive? I know our struggle is here, but do you want to outline them for us, for our listeners?
Yeah, the big thing to focus on is kind of like what your goals are, I guess, as a club. Yeah. Because if your goal is to be like the best competitive team in the nation, then you put all your resources towards that, and then you just win national tournaments, right?
Yeah.
And if that's what you want, then that's what you do, is like you get good at that. But the fact of the matter is, in our situation, we're not at that level yet.
It takes a lot to get there in the first place.
Because it takes a lot just to get up there. Like, we've proven that in our entire history of esports for our program, we haven't been there yet. And it's all about resources, right, and structure and, like, a good program. So once we get there, that's when we could focus competitive-wise. But for now, since our main focus is, like, keeping people and making sure the student experience is a good one, that's where the casual comes in.
Correct.
And it's a good balance of competition and casual, because with casual players, obviously competitions, they compete and all that against other colleges, but with casual players,
doesn't really
we've proved that they can come and have, like, play in a tournament, or there's a place for them to just game on the off time, or there are communities that play the same game, like Minecraft, and then they could eventually hang out with each other and stuff. So it's like, the more important thing here is to make sure that they're having a good time while they're at NMSU.
Correct.
Because as we've proven, through, like, a literal study and through just common sense, like, everyone has gaming in common.
Correct.
Like, we all play games. So it's a matter of what are the ways we can bring this community of gamers, whether they're, like, hardcore or just trying to play a game, like, how can we bring them together? And that's the biggest struggle. But we've come to find out that, like, okay, if we just, like, do a Minecraft thing, that a lot of people will show up.
Yeah.
Or if we do, like, a little game night, a lot of people will show up.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
it's a matter of focusing on how to make those single player games, or games in general, like a community. So
correct.
So
yeah, no, definitely.
That's the balance there, and that's how this will pay off. I mean, like, we have a swimming pool, right? For example, not everyone fucking swims, but if we had, like, a console, pretty much everyone has come across a console in their life and has played it. So
and even if you
who's going to use what more and which one's cheaper?
Yeah.
So it's like...
I like that analogy of a swimming pool. Like, there's professional fucking swimmers.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
you literally just swim, but, like, a different way than normal people swimming. And people that don't even know how to swim can still enjoy
They can
said
still enjoy
pool.
it, yep.
So, yeah, that's a really good example for that. I think when it comes to... Well, actually, it's not really my opinion, but I have another question for you when it comes to this. I know UT Dallas does this. I think
Mhm.
when it comes to their gaming. I'm not sure if it's UT Dallas or just UT Austin.
Austin, yeah.
I'm not gonna butcher. I'm just gonna say some UT school. Um, what they do is they have like a Discord where it's like, all right, it's Longhorns Gaming. That's their gaming club. But then
Right.
they have their separated esports
Mhm.
thing. I think it's like the Dallas Comets.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
their esports. But
Right.
Longhorns Gaming is their gaming club.
As their gaming club, yeah.
What do you think about the differentiation because of two? Because I know the Comets, since they are competitive, they have like a lot of backing. Like their fucking esports org is sponsored by their fucking electricity
Right.
company. But the Longhorns Gaming is like nowhere near as big. How do you think that sort of dichotomy works in the esports? Or would it work here? Would it work for someone that's starting?
Well,
Or does it only work
right.
with someone with a lot of help?
If it's the UT system, then that's a little complicated because if it's UT Austin doing a club and you're comparing UT Austin's club to UT Dallas's
Yeah.
competitive gaming,
It's a little different.
but those are
yeah.
two separate systems. So it's like if you're more asking like having both at NMSU,
Correct.
okay, so in that case, if we had a club and we had a program,
Yes.
it's pretty simple. It's like we go for both because the program is the one that's going to get you sponsorships. It's going to get you the fame, the glory, for the whole program, for the competitive side of it and the casual side. But it will push through and make it legit.
Correct.
But the club, it will still maintain the humble beginnings, which is having a community of gamers.
Correct.
And having the balance is very important, not only for a practical reason, but for like strategic reasons. So
Yeah, you don't want one to be better than the other because then why the fuck would you choose the shitty one?
yeah, well, and when you have a club, the program can't make money because the program's now part of the university. So it
Correct.
has to go through like Learfield to get sponsors.
Yeah.
Or it has to go through the foundation to get donations. But the club, they can fundraise and they can make money.
Yeah.
So they just make money, right? So that's one thing that the club can do. The club is also just more catered to the community because as a program, you can only do so much. Like
Correct.
you're going to be focused on the real big things like getting your sponsorships, keeping
Your
communications with
facilities.
other things, yeah, maintaining your facility. Like the club can just focus on doing all the events and stuff. So it's like I'm all for that system. I just feel like one day it's probably better if we just had the program be the club, but I don't know. It's going to be a weird balance.
Yeah, it's a weird balance for
I
sure.
I just like unity, honestly. I don't really like when there's separate
Separation.
entities.
Correct. Yeah, I think
So
I've been a part of some organizations that are super separated, like super decentralized from, obviously their heads, and I think we all know who we're talking about, Winky Face. And I mean, it's good because it allows communities to grow organically, but it's bad when you have to kind of keep track of those communities and you have people that don't know how to keep track of them, at least not in a professional sense. So I think that's a big issue that we have here. But I'll go ahead and cap this podcast with our last question since we've been talking for about an hour. Last but not least, I asked everybody the same question, but I kind of tailor it to obviously their position and their stance on whatever the fuck that they do. Last but not least, who inspires you to be the best leader / director / captain, coach that you can be?
That's interesting.
And why?
I can't say like I have a famous leader and a not famous leader like a lot of people.
Yeah.
I have like two leaders in general. The first one that comes to mind always is Adrian, and his name is Adrian Yanez. He graduated recently with his doctorate, so I mean, it's like
Shout out to you.
he's grinded for what he's done. But he was my mentor starting in like 2016 actually, when I first came to NMSU. And he showed me that you can single-handedly like turn around an entire fucking entity just by yourself at the position you're at. You don't even have to be in charge of it. And he proved to me that like wherever the fuck you are in that org, like you can change it. And he single-handedly changed the student government, in my opinion, and just made it like he made it the best government in a very long time from what I've been collecting. And that really made me like it proved that like, wow, you can truly make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but he has taught me so fucking much. He's taught me like really cool everything, management skills, fucking communication skills, you know, when it comes to presenting or talking. Like, he's taught me so much, and a lot of it he's taught me without like intentionally teaching me.
Yeah.
He
Like
was
through
just
experience.
just experiencing it, yeah, and being around, like just being around him, like I learned like, holy shit, this is the expectation I should be at if I lead. So thanks to him, I get most of my leadership from him, honestly. And I you know, in high school I didn't really have, I had like great outlets, right?
Mm.
But I didn't have like a mentor like him. So he's like my best fucking friend now. You know, he went from like mentor to like best friend. Like, I was a groomsman in his wedding, you know, like we got really close. So Adrian comes to mind first. I can't say like a president or
Someone famous.
someone
It's okay.
famous, but
I know a lot of
him,
people say like
for
mom.
sure. Yeah, I was gonna say mom after that, because her thing is like, you know, she's the hardest fucking worker on this planet, without a doubt. And every son will say that about their mom,
Yeah.
but like, she really fucking made it work for us when we were growing up, and when ends had to be met, and when times are tough, she had no fucking problem working like
She clutched
24 fucking hours or something ridiculous, not sleeping, and just grinding just to make sure like we have like good stuff.
Yeah.
And for that, I figured out like, damn, like there's no fucking excuse. If
Mhm.
you really love something or someone, or you have passion for something, if you pour your heart into it, like, you're gonna get a lot.
Definitely.
And she just did it just because we were her boys. So I mean, that's a big one. That's super
Mhm.
important. I mean,
Yeah, I was lucky enough to meet your mom when she roasted your ass at
when
your
she
graduation.
roasted me, yeah, called me
You were
stinky.
faded.
I was pretty fucked. I blame my friend.
Uh,
But yeah, I'd say my mom and Adrian easily.
definitely.
She's a role model, to say the least. So,
Well, I'm glad you didn't say something cheesy like Benjamin Franklin. Some people fucking say that.
dude,
shit.
that's fucking stupid. Because for them to be a like leader that you look up to, you like really got to pay attention to them and not just like read quotes.
Damn, this guy invented the light bulb.
I don't
Well-
give a fuck what he did. Like I could invent the light bulb. Just
That's true. That's true. You're pretty smart. Anyway, thank you so much, Pac, director of NM State Esports. For those of you guys that don't,
Thanks,
haven't seen the
I hope
episode.
that was good. Yeah.
No, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
We
hope that was
have
pretty cool.
the first time that he was on the podcast right below. I know we technically had the season finale for season 2, but I don't give a fuck. We're posting this shit today.
Fuck it.
So make sure to go ahead and check out that podcast. We're definitely going to have Fetty Retro on the podcast sometime soon, and then hopefully we can make some more fucking use of the studio.
Yeah, I'm personally excited for this because once we start using it in the A's,
The next fucking podcast is going to
Everything
be in
else.
6K. You have my word, chat.
all right, chat. He told
Thank you so much,
Thank
Peck.
you, dude.
And we'll see you guys the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.